Good morning. My name is James Luke Aparece from 2DVMB Group 7, and I'm here to report on the attributes of a good vaccine for Assignment 1 of Zootech 225 Poultry Health and Flock Health Management. Vaccines are the most practical way to protect the flock from contagious diseases. This is because not all contagious diseases can be contained by biosecurity alone. As such, uh, poultry producers require good vaccines, and good vaccines follow certain parameters that allows them to do their purpose in an efficient manner. And these are the six attributes of a good vaccine. The first attribute is the ability to elicit the appropriate immune response for the particular pathogen. Vaccines' primary purpose is to create an immunity on certain diseases by allowing the disease's weakened pathogens to enter the organism. The organism's immune system detects the weakened pathogens and creates measures to dispel the disease and prevent it from resurfacing, creating an immunity. A good vaccine must be able to give the correct response to the pathogen particular to it. There are some instances, however, that a vaccination fails to give an immunity not at the fault of the vaccine. These are usually related to genetics or maybe certain physiological features of the animal that prevents that prevents the vaccine from giving it a proper immunization. The second attribute is the long-term protection. Vaccines should be able to protect the bird for a long time, as certain diseases can afflict a chicken in certain stages of its growth. An example of this is the Marek's disease, afflicting chickens under 16 weeks of age, which causes the vaccines to be ideally administered on the day of hatching. There are also some diseases such as the Newcastle's disease that requires routine vaccination to ensure the prevention of the disease. This is because the Newcastle's vaccine is attenuated virus, which means that it is still alive, but it is severely weakened to the point which it cannot cause diseases. But it needs to be routinely administered in order to ensure that an immunization is in full effect. The third attribute is safety, and as expected, vaccines need to be safe from risk of contracting diseases. A vaccine should prevent and form an immunity and not cause a disease. There are symptoms and side effects that can occur, such as in the case of poultry, which is respiratory noise or sneaking, head shaking, and watery eyes. But the side effects should only be temporary and not cause harm to the birds. Another way to determine the safety of vaccines is through clinical trials, and uh, a vaccine usually needs to pass a certain number of clinical trials in order to make it available for market. The fourth attribute is stability. Vaccines must be stable in the sense that that retain immunogenicity, which is the ability of a substance or molecule to provoke an immune response, even on adverse storage conditions before administration. Vaccines are usually stored in insulated cooler boxes or dedicated freezers in temperatures under negative 20 degrees Celsius. But there are some unavoidable circumstances that may cause vaccines to be stored under ideal conditions, such as power outage or maybe a malfunction in the storage in the storage where the vaccines are being stored. The fifth is vaccines need to be inexpensive. The poultry industry is a very profit-driven industry, and as such, vaccines need to be inexpensive in order for them to gain a profit and not make a loss. Vaccines are the most practical way, as mentioned earlier, and in order for a full flock to be immunized, herd immunity must be achieved. And since poultry farms usually have tens to thousands of birds, and it depends on the scale, and each of them needs to be immunized in order to achieve this so-called herd immunity. The sixth attribute and last is a good vaccine should not induce autoimmunity or hypersensitivity. By definition, hypersensitivity is the excessive and undesirable reactions produced by the immune system, while autoimmunity refers to the failure of the immunological tolerance mechanisms causing reactions against the organism's own cells and tissues. Examples of this are uh, allergic allergic reactions, and a good vaccine should be able to vaccinate vaccinate the organism without causing these issues, as these issues can lead to complications and can worsen the condition of the organism. That's all. Thank you.